Now we'll go over to some highlights from a couple of weeks ago, Cardiff Met's last home game. Noah was actually building the arc that night with the disgusting amount of rain we had. We'll show you some highlights from May action on that night 2 weeks ago.
It was, in fact, and he popped it out to Matthew Marley, who plunged over the line.
Yeah, you know, those set pieces are so crucial.
As Met set up here, and they are powering through. And then over the line, Cardiff Met take the first win. Oh, and there's a scuffle here. They're trying to pump the legs, they're trying to drive forward. As Hartbury spoil the party here, it looks as if they might have ruined them all as it goes down. Time for Met to restructure themselves as Roderick Evans drops a shoulder. Oh, he's danced through the midfield. Oh, that is brilliant. Wow.
He has just stepped them inside out. The Carmarthenshire man is on scintillating form at the moment. That is a fantastic bit of footwork from Roderick Evans. That is superb to see from the man in form. That will be such a huge boost for Cardiff Met here.
So don't get too excited too early if you're a fan of either side, as Met set a good platform here to drive again, as Morgan Nelson is at the back of this maul. He is driving forward. It looks as if he's over, and he is over. It's another try for Cardiff Met. They are absolutely buzzing with this one as they go up to 20 points before the half.
Hartbury almost playing hot potato with the ball there. Will Rigg again alert, wanting to drive forward.
Fantastic thinking there from Will Rigg. Despite being a big unit in the centre, he has got that flair in him as well as he tries to get over the ball. And the ball is spilt forward. Wow, this game is unbelievable. And Will Rigg, is he clean through? Oh, Will Rigg! Oh, I thought he was over there. So close, but yet they are very close. They need to spread the ball out. Roderick Evans into Sullivan. And it's over. Cardiff Met are celebrating as Cardiff Met take another try, the fourth try of the evening.
Will Rigg, strong and certainly on fire there to give Cardiff Met a massive lead.
Many tries come from the driving maul, some intricate play between the hooker and the ones getting lifted up in the line out. So yeah, they've been playing excellent, to be fair, and last time at home against Hartbury, of course they won 35-19, which was a convincing win in the end, and to be fair, they grafted for that one, and yeah, they've been playing excellent at home, to be fair.
Now, even though they played well at home, last week didn't go so well. A loss on the road, 14-27 to Exeter. What went wrong there, Griff?
I think in general it was an unfortunate display by Cardiff Met. They had plenty of opportunities really to get over the line. They had, I believe it was 6 or 7 clear-cut chances in the 22. They had a couple of forward passes. They had a few line-outs, inside the 22 that went over the top. It was just in general a little bit sloppier than they were here the week before. But now in general we are, I think this week they'll be looking to improve on that in general, and as well the physicality needs to go up again.
Now, do you think they can improve on those sufficiently today? What are your predictions for today's match, Greg?
I think they'll be able to improve. I've seen there's been a couple of changes to the side. They've moved Will Rigg onto the bench, Bingo Ivanisevic into 12, and then Dav Chouette's also come into 13 now. So they'll be hoping to create some more chances through the centres, I believe, and hoping as well to exploit some gaps on the wing as well. So asking for the prediction, it's always a tough one making a prediction. I'm going to go for a Cardiff Met win, obviously. We are Cardiff Met fans here, but I'm going to go Cardiff Met 29, Leeds Beckett 12. That's my prediction. Big win.
Tonight.
Bonus point. It's going home.
We'll see what happens. We hope so. Now, as fun as it would be to have me, your American commentator, call this game, I don't know the difference between a try and a touchdown. I'm still working on that. So instead, we'll throw it over to our rugby experts for today's game, Rob Burke and our commentary analyst, Blake Tiger Lee Brown. Guys, take it away.
Thank you very much, Atticus, for that little throw over there. Welcome back and good evening. You're here for BUCS Rugby on Cardiff Met TV. It's Cardiff Met versus Leeds Beckett tonight here at Rugby 1. Both teams, as we said, are coming off the back of losses. Cardiff Met, unfortunately, losing in their varsity game to Exeter, and Leeds losing to Loughborough. It's 4th versus 6th, but both teams could be going for the title here. It's not as it appears on paper. Joining me to watch the game, Blake Tiger Lee Brown. What are you expecting today?
I'm expecting a very crucial game to really try and establish themselves after coming back from a defeat. I feel it was important for each team to learn from the defeat, especially for Cardiff Met. The first time they've really gone on the road. You know, they've had really kind fixtures recently, not having to travel too far. I feel it's a real big test to go away to Exeter, but tonight is a very good opportunity to rectify that and really react well and show what they can do.
Yeah, travelling for Cardiff Met has been fortunate, but as we said, the intensity of those games have not been easy. As we see the round 5 results here, as I said, Cardiff Met losing to Exeter in a much tighter game than it appears. Their 27-14 is not very flattering to Cardiff Met, but the actual game, when you watch it, there's some positive signs there, and I know the coaches have been working really hard this week to try and rectify those mistakes in the attack. And we're going to bring you the team news very shortly. 2 different approaches from both coaches in how they're trying to rectify their mistakes. In terms of Cardiff Met, much more changes, and for Leeds, a few.
They said it was very much due to, as we can just see, the Cardiff Met team here, they have got a few changes.
Yeah, 6 changes for Cardiff Met, 2 to the front row. Carl and Sutherland coming in, and captain Morgan Nelson drops out of the side due to injury. It's Telfer's first start at 6, and Morgan Lloyd and Brad Denty also come back into the side after Brad Denty recovered from that concussion he picked up a couple of weeks ago. For Leeds, it's just the one change. As I said, contrast in styles in how they are picking their team. The biggest miss, John Okafor, BUCS' 28th all-time top goal scorer, is out of the side today. Also missing Ollie Toomey, a man who has dropped the ball over the post. 4 drop goals this season. Alex Green is also starting at centre to bring the pace in that middle of the park.
Yeah, a lot of threats there from Leeds.
For the subs, Cardiff Met, Oldham, Barrett, Andrews, Barlett, Locks, Stacey, Morgan and Rigg. And for the Leeds side, Hancock, Ridgway, Ilanuka, Beach, Hadland, McNabb, Steen and Rowlinson.
As I was saying there, both teams have approached this game differently in terms of how much they've made changes. We spoke earlier to a few of the Cardiff Met coaches. There's a lot. This lineup tonight was a lot to do with the learning experience that was faced against Exeter. It was in terms of reacting to that, and of course the physical toll it played on the players as well. You know, we spoke, me and Griff last week against Harpreet, and that last time out. You know, we spoke really highly on how well they did in terms of rotating the players. That is so good to have. And Cardiff Met, they've got such a great depth. All players conditioned themselves well, ready to step in. And we see some first team appearances for these players. And I feel that they're going to really step in nicely tonight.
Yeah, you talk about that squad rotation. One of the biggest things that stands out to me is that switch in the centre. Bingo Ivancevic, really big time for Cardiff Met. He's got a lot of quality on the ball. And they've brought in a new centre partnership. Tietty there, he's come in into the side to try and get the best out of Bingo. Obviously Will Rigg, really talented player. He had the most carries last week at 12. It's about the team. At the end of the day, Will Rigg, I know he's going to be there. He's going to be ready to fight for his team when it called upon. But it is about finding that winning formula. As you said, the coaches so far this season are still trying to work out their winning formula. And hopefully we see it click tonight in that centre. Yeah,
we were speaking to the coaches and they said they're enjoying this headache of making the best team possible. It is still early in the season, and you know, I like to see these players, you know, take their opportunities well, and I like to see the fact that they're playing to their strengths. They acknowledge what they can exploit, they're going to acknowledge what they can find the weaknesses in Leeds' team, and they're going to just really try and focus tonight. And I'm looking forward to see how Bingo especially plays through the centre, because Leeds are strong in that sense.
Yeah, and as you can see on your screens there, the crowd are in good numbers tonight. Last week the rain might have put them off. It almost drowned us out of the stadium. In all fairness, they have come back in their numbers. The Met faithful there on your screens. Yeah, as you said, there's a lot of tactical decisions made to try and bring out the best in some of the biggest talents in that Cardiff Met side. Obviously, though, like you say, it's not the travelling that's wearing them down. It's more the distance and how intense their games are. Obviously, the ball in play last week, 38 minutes play time. That's high numbers. That's an intense game. Lot of running. And I know the coaches have been working hard to try and condition their team the best they can.
Yeah, you know, we spoke earlier to the coach, and even he said they expect a lot of yards run in the game, and they are ready for this. You know, they're ready for the challenge, and It's like this game is specific for that. I feel that challenge is to showcase how well conditioned they are, how well drilled they are. As I keep emphasising, those players who step in, and it's good to see like maybe they've come in for that tactical decision and just to give people a rest and really get through some nice rotations.
Yeah, as you see on your screen there, the Leeds team in the centre of the pitch. They are alone. We're still waiting for Met to make their way out of the change rooms and onto the pitch. Griff mentioned this might have been a tactical decision. Make that team wait. Let the nerves build in the opposition's stomachs. But this Leeds team looking comfortable. Like I said, 3 defeats on the bounce. They're going to look to come back. They're going to look to come back strong. And can they do it today? You've obviously watched their game from last week. What do you think?
I think this is a game where either team can bounce back. We can't really call this game. It's these games that are so important to try and work out where you're at this early in the season. I feel Leeds, they know what they're in for tonight. They've lost their star man, Okafor. They're really going to have to try and focus themselves. And I think that's the theme of tonight, is both teams, again, coming from a loss. However, this is a great opportunity to professionally react to that and be proactive in the sense of taking the challenge on really well tonight.
Yep, and I'm sure you can hear the Cardiff Met supporters in the background, supported by the drum. The man holding the drum is in a wonderfully patterned suit. I'm sure you've seen a couple of times on your screen. He'll get the crowd going tonight. It's an intimidating place for Leeds to try and break that duct of a losing streak. With this crowd behind them, anything's possible. Cardiff Met looking to bounce back as well.
We spoke last week. I spoke to the game of Hartpury, me and Griff, and we spoke about how important the ethos is of this stadium, and it plays such a huge factor. And again, as I iterate, it is so important to have a crowd that can really give you a home advantage. You want to make it really difficult for teams to come and play, because as we know, any team can beat any team, and both teams can acknowledge this, but I feel the fans here are something really special.
Yeah, and I think we are moments away from seeing the Cardiff Met team emerge from the tunnel, formed by the Cardiff Met supporters. This Leeds team, it's a cold night. It's definitely chilly. The wind isn't too bad, but the frost and the chill, really cold night. And this Leeds team have been out on the pitch for a good 5 or so minutes now, waiting for their opposition to join them. As I think they do now. Cardiff Met, here they come to the chance of Uwick.
Perhaps it could be gamesmanship from the Cardiff Met to leave the Leeds team out waiting.
I think it might be. It is a cold night, and they've been stood there for a while. They would have got themselves pumped, hoping they can make an impact. And they've just sit there to freeze, and here comes Charles Rylands leading his team out. They look pumped for this one, and they're full of energy, and they were probably nice and warm in that changing room moments ago.
You can see a lot from body language here. How much are they up for it? How much can they react tonight? All these things I'm going to be critically looking at, and I feel that Cardiff Met look really, really up for this one.
The Leeds team don't look too happy about waiting all this time to get going, but we will be getting going shortly as the crowd make their way to the stands. The players make their way onto the pitch. Bradley Roderick Evans is going to get himself a ball and I think get us underway. No, it's going to be Leeds to get us underway, actually. They've been stood there with the ball. They're already sorted.
Got to stay focused. Either team, both teams, very contrasting in way. They've been waiting to get onto the pitch. Cardiff Met ready to get into it, but Cardiff Met needs to stay focused just as Leeds need to as well.
As you can see on your screens there, the crowd making their way in. That stadium on the right will fill up nicely in the next couple of minutes. I'm sure it's going to be a full capacity for this game. Leeds still waiting to get us underway though.
Referee's just waiting to get the teams underway here.
I'm not sure about the tactical decision, but it is a long time now Leeds have been waiting to go underway. Hopefully their warm-up was nice and extensive and their blood is still pumping so they don't get too cold out there. But it'll be interesting to see how the first 5 minutes of this game does go now, as I think we're just about ready to get ourselves underway. The ref seems happy. He's going to start his clock. And the ball is punted just into the Cardiff Met 22. And we are underway then, Blake. Where are you going to be focusing on? Where do you think this game is going to be won and lost in these early stages?
As you said before, the first 5 minutes of the game can really find a way of seeing the tempo, who's looking more up for it. As we said, Leeds are going to be looking very good through the centre. They are without their star man, Okafor. However, Cardiff Met have prepared for this defensively. So we're going to expect a very good disciplinary sort of performance out here for Cardiff Met, but Leeds can really take advantage of that if they can.
Yeah, it was a long wait for Leeds to get this game underway, but they have not started slow at all. As we expected, they are strong in the ruck, and they're quick to the ruck as well. They'll be aiming for 2 or so seconds, and they will be hitting those targets, especially in these early stages. Definitely something I know they focused on. Cardiff Met do the same thing. They'll be looking to be strong in the ruck, but it's going to be Leeds to take the kick into touch. Sam Allen with his first kick to touch of the game. As we said in the build-up, the lineouts are going to be important. Cardiff Met slightly disappointed with how they dealt their lineouts last week. In terms of Leeds, is it a similar thing? Get those right early?
Yeah, for sure. You know, you want to start testing Cardiff Met early on. You want to start testing the defence, find where the frailties lie early on in the game.
Slight fumble there from Harry Simmons as he's raised up to catch the line out. And the ref blows his whistle there. I think Cardiff Met did manage to get their hands on it. Matt Marley's in the mix on the floor. It's going to be a penalty to Cardiff Met. Bradley Roderick Evans with the kick.
This early on, we're going to see many penalties given away, or perhaps due to nerves, but as we say, we can learn so much from this first 5 minutes, from how disciplined each team are and giving away penalties. But he's just caught that in, he's kept that in play there.
Yeah, difficult first kick there for Bradley Roderick Evans. He's going to, it's a lovely little bit of skill and a diving pass. Cardiff Met, it's a slippery pitch. You can see maybe the frost making the surface a tough grip, but the ref is going to give Cardiff a little bit of respite there. Maybe get your head straight, get yourself sorted, because slippery start.
Yeah, it's a slippery start. Like I say, these Met players need to get focused early on. They need to stay really professional and just get themselves composed and relaxed just going into this game.
Yeah, as a fan watching, it's a nice brisk evening to watch the rugby. To play in is a different thing, though. Slightly better kick there from Cardiff Met into touch.
I was watching the Cardiff Met Exeter game last week, and lineouts really played a really good part in how much Cardiff Met could have really improved on. So let's see if we can.
They normally do, and that was a nicely worked Cardiff Met lineout. But the referee says there's a little knock on there, and it's going to be the first scrum of the game. Early on, 3 minutes in, first scrum. That's where it'll be nice. It's not going to be too intense. Obviously, like you say, the distance travelled for Cardiff Met isn't too far, but the intensity of their games has been massively high. So a scrum in the early stages, calm the nerves. As you said, it's difficult circumstances on the pitch. It's slippery out there. It'll be nice for them to settle, and the quicker they do that, the quicker they can start getting points on the board.
It'll be interesting to see who benefits from this the most. We do know that Leeds are very strong in the maul and very good in the scrums. So let's see how really well set up Met are for this to anticipate this.
Yeah, this is something we know the Cardiff Met coaches have concentrated on in the build-up to this game. They know Leeds are strong in the scrum, and they know that they've got a good driving maul as well. And they'll target areas where they can exploit them. Obviously, Leeds being good in the scrum is a difficult thing for Met to counter, but I know the coaches have picked the team that they feel can counter it the best, as Leeds are going to have this scrum now, 5 minutes in. The ball goes in there, and it's strong from Cardiff Met. Can't quite get it out. This is what we're saying, both teams strong in the ruck. Cope is going to get the ball out, though, and it's good tackling from Cardiff Met. Couldn't quite win the ball back, though. Leeds are going to get the play back underway.
Cardiff Met did really well on that scrum there. You know, they almost just got a really touch into the ball there, but it's a good start for Cardiff Met. I think they can peg them back here.
Oh, Cope's box kick charged down. He's managed to catch it. Good hands there. Difficult catch, slippery ball in this cold weather. Here come Cardiff Met now. The ball's in Jack Sylvester's hands, and it's sent over to this near side. There it is. Brad Denty, the number 11, with the opening try. The fingers weren't too cold there.
I just wanted to say as well, me and Rob were trying to make predictions on who was going to be the first try scorer. What did we just see
Late
here,
switch to the wings. That's Roma Zeng there, wearing the number 11 jersey. Maybe a late switch of wings.
That's even got me by surprise, because I was just about to say that on this left wing, that's where the strengths will lie for Cardiff Met. As we see here, Jack Sylvester picks up the ball and Roma Zeng in plenty of space.
It is Roma Zeng. That's a familiar sight this season, seeing him charge down that left side. A last-minute switch of wings for Cardiff Met, but it's paid off early on. Roma with a try, and it's going to be Bradley Roderick Evans to convert. But that's something that's really been a part of this season for Cardiff Met. The two wingers can play either side. They swapped last week. They've swapped back this week. And it's come up trumps them early on, 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, we're just looking around now to our notes, and we've seen the difference of switch of wings. It's taken us all by surprise. But a very good start for Met nonetheless.
Bradley Roderick Evans sends it up, trying to get a little bit of curl on it. Can't quite get it wrapped around the post, but it's a good start for Cardiff Met.
I was just saying before, I was just waving my hand in the air thinking I got the prediction right for Brad Denty to be the first try scorer, because I knew how strong that Cardiff Met are focusing on this left-hand side. So as we're just arranging our notes here to acknowledge that Roma Zeng is in fact a left winger, we can see maybe more action from him on that side.
It's not the first time he's caught me out on that left side, but it is a common occurrence that he catches out the opposition running down that wing, and he's done just that in the opening 7 minutes of this game. As we get back underway, and the ball is in the hands of Cardiff Met now on their own 22. Looks like it's going to be a box kick from Roderick Evans, which it is. And that's going to be sent straight out of play, unfortunately, there for Roderick Evans.
I just want to say as well, that pressure that was put onto Leeds very early on just shows, like I said, those little moments in the first 5 minutes, and where we can see perhaps a bit of weakness there. Cardiff Met identified it straight away and were very quick to pounce and not let Leeds get out. I was just saying, you know, they did well in the scrum. That all came from a scrum. It started off there, and then it was really put under pressure well, but can Leeds maybe try and fight back here?
Yeah, it was a lovely try from Roma, getting it down like he did last week as a looping ball is sent over to the far side. That looked forward to me, and the ref agrees it's going to be a knock on and ultimately going to be a Cardiff Met scrum over on that far side there. But as I was saying, Roma Zeng, consolation try, albeit last week, but he did score twice, and controversy over whether that pass was forward. He's definitely a threat on that wing, and they'll look to find him all night probably.
I like to see the versatility in the players. You know, we speak so highly of how well they can adapt, and you know, we did identify in this game in particular that both wings of both teams had a lot of threat, and we just seen their Leeds getting a bit too excited early on and with a forward pass. But you know, they need to stay patient, and that's really important this early on in the game.
Bradley Roderick Evans is going to chip it just over the top there for a Leeds line out in a similar position that we saw just before the knock-on. As we see some fantastic costumes in the crowd, there's the drummer in his Christmas present suit. The caveman getting the crowd going as Leeds get their line out caught and their game back underway. As we see their strength in the ruck, they're dedicating a lot of men to make sure they don't lose that ball. As Reece Charalambous bursts through a couple of tackles. Oh, it's a little fumble, but it's caught nicely. It's not gone forward. The referee has blown his whistle. It was forward as Bavadra looked to break through the lines there. That's someone the coaches did identify to be a threat to the Cardiff Met defence. Blake.
Both of those players there in that bit of phase of play, both Charalambous and Bavadra, both important players for Leeds. You know, as we said, they're strong through the centre and through that the stronger side of Leeds, and Bavadres look very, very alert there to just try and get their wingers on, and you can just sort of see the pattern of what they're trying to achieve here, Leeds. They're trying to win the fights really centrally to the pitch and then really try to splay it wide and get those players on the ball to get them as much territory as possible.
Yeah, that front row is very talented for Leeds. Rhys Charalambous there making his way through a couple of tackles nice and easily, sending it out wide. Unfortunately, like we say, it's forward, but it is Cardiff Met's scrum. Matt Marley's going to get it out. Couple of passes there as Bingo makes his way through a couple of tackles. Telfer does the similar thing, making his way to the Leeds 10-metre line. Roderick Evans with a little dink over the top. Can it be caught? Not quite. It's an awkward bounce for the Leeds defender. And they've made their way through. Good recovery tackle from the Leeds defence there, but here come Cardiff Met as the pass is dropped, but the ball is with Matt Marley. The pitch environment making it a difficult environment for Met to make those quick passes. Bailey Telfer there. Charles Rylands picks up the ball. He's going to try and make a couple of yards. Try and get his team over that 5-metre line. Phase after phase here. It's quick phase as well for Cardiff Met. Trying to gain those yards. Here is Bingo in the blue scrum cap. He's your man to get through. Charles Rylands, you know exactly what he's going to do. Did it last week and it paid off. Can't quite make it there. Within a yard now and the ball's over. Is it down? Yes, it is. Relentless pressure from Cardiff Met, just like last week. The difference being this week they burst through that defensive line.
I was just about to say as well, a key thing for Cardiff Met tonight was going to be getting in those hard yards, but that's a fair sort of phase of play where they had to express themselves beautifully and gaining those yards very close to the Leeds try line, and I thought that was really strong play there to just show how really up for Cardiff Met are. That's a very fantastic start, I think.
Yeah, two contrasting tries. Obviously, the first in the breakaway from Roma Zeng, really nice fluidity, and basically was left open on that left side. This one, relentless phases, strong tackling, and what's important is the ruck they were not losing because they kept going. Leeds, one of the strongest teams in the league at winning the ball back there. They're very infamous for getting those turnovers, but it's going to be Bradley Roderick Evans. Not quite there from Bradley this time. Kicking not quite been on point as it usually is. He's been a fantastic ball player for Cardiff Met this season so far, as we see the repeat of the try there. They bulldoze their way over the line.
It's a great way it just spun away from the tackle there, and that just shows like how strong they are going forwards. Bingo Ivacevic was very crucial in conducting that phase of play and just showing how he shrugged off the Leeds defender, and it was really good to see Cardiff Met looking this strong early on.
So 15 minutes in then, the score is Cardiff Met 10, Leeds Beckett 0. 2 missed conversions, but we won't let that worry us too much this early on. It's nice to get the points on the board as the box kick is sent well into the Leeds half. Caught nicely by Spencer Owen. Leeds make their way over the halfway line. Just going through the phases as they look to make their way over the halfway line. Bailey Telfer there with a good tackle. Big hit on the centre there, Dave Tuetti.
Leeds looking pretty nervous here. As we see, Tuetti there tackling well. all players there looking alert. So the two new players actually coming in there. We've seen both Bailey Telfer there and also Dafydd Tueti. It's as though like they've been brought in to just react to that. We are seeing the game plan unfold in front of us. It's everything we'd expect and the patterns of play. And you can see it pretty much as a chess match has been identified to exploit where Leeds are weak.
Yeah, definitely. As we said, Bingo Vincevic there, really crucial play for Cardiff Met, and it was Dave Tueti who came into the side to try and complement him nicely. And you saw in the second try there, it worked really well. It's kind of exactly what they were hoping for, as we do have a Cardiff Met scrum. There is Roma Zeng sending the ball over to the right wing. The outfits in that crowd, it's not as warm as they make it look. It is absolutely freezing here, and I'm seeing too few sleeves in that crowd.
Also seeing some Christmas themed outfits out there. A bit early for me, if I'm being honest.
So we're going to have a scrum then over on that far side, right in front of those Cardiff Met fans. Just out of shot, they are relentlessly chanting and driving their team forward. That drum is making all the difference as well. I can hear it through my headphones, and I'm sure the players can too.
If Cardiff Met stay strong on these sort of scrums early on, I'm sure it'll be a great confidence booster to complement how strong they really are at the moment.
The scrum does go down there. Referee deems it to be Cardiff Met's fault, and it's going to be a penalty to Leeds just inside their own half. 16 minutes in then. Thoughts of the game so far? Obviously the result so far is positive. In terms of the performance, what do you think?
I think Cardiff Met have started as very well to how we expected their game plan to go, if I'm being honest. We expected them to be strong defensively, and what I'm seeing really is what we'd expected. We knew that they weren't going to give Leeds a moment to get prepared, and Leeds haven't really got anything going. I did see once maybe towards in the 8th minute towards that moment, and Leeds did rush it and we've seen a forward pass, but yeah, I think it's a very professional start, and that's what I was saying early on.
Yeah, as Leeds get their line out right. Quick offload to Harrison Walker there, the man who is replacing John in the starting 15. As Nick Brown skips a few tackles and makes his way into the Cardiff Met half. Nicely caught by Harry Simmons. Leeds going through the phases nicely as the tackle skipped there by Burlow. Here come Leeds, and it's down. Tom Burlow skipping the tackle, offloading the ball, and it's a good try for Leeds.
I'm not surprised to see that. We did identify Leeds to be very smart in their play through the centre. You could just see that was a very nice step that the Leeds player did there. He was going to look to go passing out wide, but as you can see here, the number 12, it was a very, very good bit of play, and I think that really caught out Cardiff Met there, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a nice try from the front row. Corner Hancock there, and it's going to be Jake Morris to take the slightly simpler conversion, which he makes with ease. So now it's getting interesting then. Those two missed conversions might come to tell, make it a little bit more nervous going into the 20th minute here.
The nerves may have just instantly it built up for Cardiff Met there, because as I was just literally saying just before that scrum there, Leeds didn't really make a threatening start. Cardiff Met were really professional and focused, but that was just perhaps a leak in Cardiff Met's defence in what we've seen, and through that centre perhaps that's something they need to patch up, but for sure this is a great opportunity for them to bounce back and show that they are still winning this game.
Yep, just shows Leeds can switch it on in an instant, which they did there. The score, Cardiff Met 10, Leeds 7. And it was Cardiff Met who got us back underway, and the ball is going to be box kicked out of the Leeds 22 over to this near side, and it has gone out just there on the full. Yeah, as we said, Leeds can turn it on in an instant. Lovely bit of footwork from Tom Burlow, the number 12 for Leeds. Nice pass to the front row, Conor Hancock, who ultimately gets the try. Just shows how dangerous they can be on that counter.
Cardiff Met need to just keep playing their game. Leeds are going to have that threat going for them where they can really turn it on in an instant and look strong through the centre. But Cardiff Met has also shown positive signs. Both teams, have showed some great signs, and I do think that Cardiff Met still look the stronger here. But I think this is a very good place, really, for Cardiff Met to try and react well from. As you don't want to really get too nervous or get too complacent this early on in the game.
Yeah.
But
Leeds win another penalty there, and as we said, they can do things that perhaps the Cardiff Met weren't expecting. Tom Birlow, 28-year-old master student, he's obviously got a lot of experience there. Might have seen his team not quite performing, and he's going to take it upon himself to get them through and get that try down, and it's nice to see them. But they've arrived. Leeds have arrived. We've got a game on our hands. The fans would love a walk in the park, but it doesn't look like it's going to be there. We might be in for yet another treat here at Rugby 1.
Those Leeds players have a lot of experience in their team with age, Alan as well, and they can really have those smart decisions, those tiny moments that neither team really, and no one really can anticipate.
It's nicely caught from the line out by Leeds, and they've switched the play over to that far side almost in an instant, and the ball is with Morris. Cope is going to get the play back underway as a little fumble comes in there. Brown collects and goes down. They've done well to recover that, Leeds, rather. Continuing to spread the play over to that far side. Walker, the replacement for Okafor. The ref blows up there. Penalty to Leeds. They really can't spread that play quickly over to the far side.
That's crucial as well, because if you move the ball quickly there, it just doesn't allow Cardiff Met to set up. Leeds can play to their strengths very well. As I keep saying, the centres where they really lie in their strengths, and because they move the ball so well, I feel this is something we're going to see occurring a lot tonight. It will come down to how well they move the ball. Cardiff Met's try is, in a sense, very similar. Yeah, they did have to put the hard yards in, which I feel like will be the difference maker. But Leeds definitely can have that explosiveness in terms of...
Yep, strong line-outs from Leeds so far this game, and their strength being that driving maul, which we're seeing now inside the 22 of Cardiff Met. Here come Leeds, still going with the ball. You can see it there. Cardiff Met looking to hold strong, and this was something they identified before the game. Cardiff Met still going, a lot of players offside now for Cardiff Met. Get themselves back in the defensive shape nicely. Cope is the man in charge. Little bit of a scuffle. Broadhurst trying to go in strong there in the ruck. Maybe a little bit overzealous, trying to win that ball back. But that's the aggression that's needed. We know how strong Leeds are in the ruck. That driving maul was looking dangerous. Something had to be done. Didn't quite get it right. Yeah,
I've seen a lot of similarities there in that driving maul, and I look back to when Cardiff Met did concede a maul try was back when against Cardiff Uni, that Cardiff Met did see that they needed to improve defensively in that sense. So we did see that little turn of not letting Leeds advance any further. So that's a good start for Met. They'll take that.
Yeah, so Alan with a little dink out of play then for another lineup. We saw how dangerous the last one was. From a Cardiff Met point of view, they'll hope they can hold strong, win that ball back as quickly as possible, and get it up this end of the pitch, being the far side of where they are now. So, Leeds with the line out there. And here is that infamous driving maul, strong as always. The ball's in the mix there. It is down just a yard or so away from the Cardiff Met try line. Picked up. Gone for the dive. Can't quite get there. The refs having a little peek. The ball's come away in the hands of a Cardiff Met player. They've booted it down pitch. And now it is a chase. Zeng is in the mix. Denty's in the mix to hold the ball up. They carry them into touch.
Very, very vital moment that for Cardiff Met. I was just thinking there for a moment that Leeds were just getting comfortable with using their strengths, but I did say that Cardiff Met needed something to react from, and yeah, they did see the threat was there from the driving maul, but from that line out, they stayed really patient and really disciplined, and they got the reach in. As we see here, they really got onto the player and they just drove him out of touch there.
Yeah, those wingers switching positions does have us in a bit of a mess in this commentary box, but there, Bradley Denty getting back, holding his player up, getting him into touch. There's the fourth-year experience. The man who's trained with the Ospreys in the summer knows what he's doing. Normally infamous with scoring, but they're really good tackle, really good strength. As you see the crowd there, they're up for this one. They know they're in a game. And it is going to be a Cardiff Met line out.
Chance this for Cardiff to use this momentum to let it build, get back to getting nice on the ball and moving that ball nicely and getting some yards, putting the hard yards in early on in this game.
Yeah, Cardiff Met will know that. That's why they've taken their time in deciding what they want to do with that line out. They decided to take it short, and the quick pass is there. Bingo skips the tackle, nicely done. He's still going, the big South African. It's a really physical game out there today. And both teams fancy their chances as Tueti makes his way through the Leeds line. Ball caught nicely by Cowell. Here is Roma on this near side. Not quite as much space as he had earlier on in the game. Matt Marley goes into the tackle. They're going to work the ball over to that far side with Bingo, who is really up for this one today. Skipping his way through a couple of challenges once again. Nice dummy there from Roderick Evans. Sorry, Lloyd rather, with the dummy. That's Lloyd to Roderick Evans there. He is Tueti with the pass. Here is Roma Zeng. And we're back where we were moments ago. Little fumble there from Sutherland. Leeds are going to pick it up here. It is Cope. And he's going to make his way all the way to the try line. Can't quite recover the ball's down. Little mistake there. Trouble with the handling. It's a cold night. The fingertips will be frosty.
Leeds Beckett will take that all day long.
Tough to see they capitalise almost immediately on the fumble. There it is. A little stab forward from Cope. Gets his hands on it and doesn't look back. Almost loses his foot in. The recovering players, for Met Broadhurst being one of them, can't quite do enough to stop him from getting that try.
That does go against the game of... The momentum there really has shifted a lot there in the past 5 minutes. Cardiff Met picked up a lot of confidence in the way they dealt with the driving maul. However, they did look pretty decent in coming towards their phases in the centre of the pitch. They just, as you say, just got a bit complacent in their passing and it just slipped out there, and Leeds Beckett would definitely enjoy that gifted try, if you like.
It's an unfortunate misplaced pass from Met, but in Leeds they have players that can just jump on any opportunity. Any slight mistake they are going to make, the Cardiff Met players, they know Leeds are going to jump on it. And there'll be something they'll look to iron out as we head into the 30th minute of the game. Nicely done once again from Morris there to make it Cardiff Met 10, Leeds 14. So, come up to the 30-minute mark then, Blake. As you said, momentum shifted, perhaps, or is it just a matter of fact that Leeds have capitalised on the couple of mistakes that Cardiff Met have made?
I have seen from after the first Leeds Beckett try that they are simply playing to their strengths. They're just allowing Cardiff Met to play their game. It is very much a tactical chess match out there. I am seeing a lot of times of letting essentially the other team make their mistakes and making the teams capitalise. I did say earlier that Cardiff Met really should try and drive towards pressuring those box kicks.
The ball is dropped once again by Matt Marley there, and it is Leeds in possession with Bavadra rather. Here come Leeds on that far side. Referee blows his whistle. Penalty to Leeds. Bingo. Little bit of a scuffle, but nothing too serious there. They're just up for this game. They're nice to see the fight. As we said, it's a cold night. The pitch is wet despite there not being any rain. The ball must be pretty slippery.
It felt like it was a bit cold that first 30 minutes. You know, the only sort of heated moment we've seen was again how well Brad Denty closed down the catch there from the driving maul that Leeds Beckett did have. But yeah, I think there's a chance here for Cardiff Met to use these sort of set pieces and get the ball moving well, to get their confidence back and get them back on top of the game. As I say, I'm sure Leeds will take that. You know, it was very much of letting Met make the mistakes, which essentially that was what cost them against Exeter as well.
The line out works out for Leeds. Cope is going to be the man to spread the play. Nice little bit of intricate pass in there from Leeds. Looking to undo that Cardiff Met defence. Ball's in the hands of Sharawalambas rather. Good tackle there from Met. Leeds retain possession though. The ball is in the hands of Allen, offloaded nicely. Here is the winger. Can't quite go all the way, Bavadra. He's looked dangerous on that right side all night. Sharawalambas skipping over a couple of tackles, not gaining as many yards as he'd have liked. Here come Leeds though. Fancy footwork from the number 10, Allen. Goes down. Cardiff Met holding strong. They are trying all of the tricks to try and break through this Cardiff Met back line. Hancock now, the try scorer, doing his best. Can't quite break through. This is a tense moment for Cardiff Met. They need to hold strong here with less than 10 minutes to the half. Cope's going to spread the play. Nice offload to Brown. Balau can't make through. Good tackle again there. Cardiff Met doing well in assisting their tacklers, getting their man down. Leeds again pushed back slightly. They're looking quite light over on this far side. They elect to go to the inside. Hancock again bounces one challenge, ultimately brought down, assisted well. Once again, some quick passing. Green with the ball in his hands. They tried to hold him up. Cardiff Met can't quite do so. Strong ruck from Cardiff. Met as a big hit goes in there. Scott, the man who puts it in, still can't win the ball back. It is the number 3 for Leeds who drops it. Sharawalambas there. Charles Ryland's not letting go. Still thinks the game's going on, I think. Brown taking on a couple of the Cardiff Met boys. There's a little scuffle breaks out. Nothing too serious. Really good defence there from Cardiff Met, has to be said.
They needed to switch on there. Leeds were moving the ball really nicely, switching through the wings, and yeah, they did slow that down and made Leeds having to drive up the numbers on the ruck, but yeah, Cardiff Met needs to take heed from that.
This is where you have to compliment the coaching from the Cardiff Met team this week. Obviously the decisions in the centre working out so far nicely. The scoreline not favourable, but it could have been made worse then. I feel like the decisions in the lineup have really come up trumps there, because Bingo's been playing fantastically, complemented really nicely by Tueti, and a few tackles in there that last week weren't being made.
You have to remember as well that Leeds have this advantage through, if anything, a very gifted try. Cardiff Met were just unfortunate to let that slip there through, and yeah, Leeds will definitely take that very easy conversion.
As Morris sends his conversion through the post. Nice and easy for him tonight in terms of kicking. Not so easy on the pitch. Cardiff Met have made it difficult, holding him up over on the far side, pushing him into touch, getting the crowd alive.
There are several factors to influence the scoreline, of course. We did say that Roderick Evans missed 2 of his kicks early on in the game, but we can see that going forwards. We can just see Bartlett there, who's just maybe come onto the pitch. Number 19 there. We may have seen a change in Cardiff Met's side early on.
Yeah, they're not afraid to make those changes in the first half. 34 minutes gone, 5 minutes before the half. And it is Leeds with the ball inside their own 22. The box kick we've seen a couple of times tonight. And it goes out of play this time round.
Romazeng there just acknowledging that this is nice for Cardiff Met. There's a chance for them to re-establish themselves back into this game. And they have the energy, they have the ability to react to this sort of deficit. And
you know, it's been very common that Cardiff Met have been in the advantage going forwards in most of their games early on in the season. But
yeah, and it's going to be another substitution to take the throw for Cardiff Met. Alden on the pitch. Nicely done there. In the line out, here come Cardiff Met. The ball's in the hands of Charles Rylands.
Yeah, we've seen a few changes early on here in the first half. Perhaps we can expect something big from Cardiff Met to react from.
Yeah, Tyler Alden coming on, played for Millfield. He's experienced. He'll know what to do in terms of getting his team forward as Roderick Evans's kick is deflected off the Leeds boys. Romazeng tries to gather, can't quite do so. They're quick. Every referee's decision, they're quick to claim it. They're not messing around at all, these Leeds boys. They're up for this one.
As I say, coming away from home, every little decision, all these marginal things going in Leeds' favour will add up, and Cardiff Met need to really react well to that.
It's going to be a Leeds scrum then.
Nevertheless, we do acknowledge that the focus must remain high for both teams. As we'd seen, Leeds' second try was very much a handoff to them, if anything. Even they probably weren't expecting it. It's those moments that can be the difference between winning and losing.
Yep, they won't want to let the game get away from them, Cardiff Met. Leeds will look to extend their advantage. We'll see what the chat is at half-time. We're obviously going to have a little word with the coaches at half-time, see what they change. From our point of view, though, it's been a good performance from Cardiff Met so far. They're doing the right kind of things. Like you say, the mistakes sometimes can't be helped. It's the conditions obviously making it more difficult to catch that slippery ball.
As I say, it is the mistakes that are suggestive to this scoreline. You know, as we say, Roderick Evans was 2 missed kicks, the missed pass from Cardiff Met. You know, there's nothing been really to suggest that the scoreline has been anything for rewarding positive play, but there has been positives from either side. You know, we did see the tries have been related to fast passing and patient defence.
Yeah, and it's going to be another scrum just inside the Leeds half. It's a slow end to this first half. Plenty of action in this first half. Strange the way the tries have come about, though.
Not surprised, to be honest. This is a game where sort of it will be down to those mistakes. It'll be down to teams simply trusting the game plan, sticking to what they know, and try and use their strengths. Cardiff Met have got that.
So it's going to be Brown to bring the ball away from the scrum. Tackled almost immediately, and the referee blows up. Cardiff Met pen. And that's what they'll want. 2 minutes left of the half. They've got the ball on their own. They've got the ball on their halfway line, actually, as we see the subs warming up there.
There's been many a time where they've won penalties in this part of the pitch.
Looks like he's going to go 4 points. Big kick. We've seen Bradley Roderick Evans make them from this distance before. The wind is favourable. Conditions are good for kicking. He's had a difficult time so far tonight.
I think it's been difficult for Roderick Evans with his kicking, but I'm liking the decision he's made here to go for the goal. And if he can get this through the post, I feel like that kind of may just erase those mistakes earlier on. And to get as many points as you can going into the half behind can be a massive positive.
So, Bradley Roderick Evans then to bring his side within a try going into half-time. We'll have 1 minute on the clock. As she's sent up. And they like that one. There it is then, arguably one of the most difficult kicks he's had to face tonight. Sent straight between the uprights. Yeah, that's a nice conversion. That'll do them the world of good, bringing the score within a try just before half-time.
Absolutely. Huge boost. I feel that the scoreline we've got here isn't actually the score that we see at the stadium. It is 17-13 to Leeds with a minute left on the clock before the half.
I know it was a good kick, but you can't give him 6 points just for that. It is Cardiff Met 13, Leeds 17. Just for clarification. nonetheless, it's a nice couple of points to get on the board just before half-time. As we actually remember, there's about 50 seconds on the stadium clock. Just under 10 now on our clock, but it's the referee's watch that we need to look out for, and his was ahead of all of ours. The clock is red. It's dinked out for the half-time whistle. The score, Cardiff Met 13, Leeds Beckett 17. That late penalty crucial.
Absolutely. This is a chance now for both teams to just sort of reflect from that first half. You know, neither team has really gotten... They've expressed themselves only to a certain percentage, I'd say. They haven't really fully expressed their strengths yet, but that's what I'd expect. The second half is what's going to be the difference maker here in terms of letting the teams just show their character a bit more. Perhaps you could say Cardiff Met are keeping their cards close to their chest early on. We did see very early on in the game, they were very late coming out. Leeds are up for it, and Leeds, for them, I feel their coaches would be telling them to just keep going through the motions, keep playing their game, as very similar to Cardiff Met's side as well.
Yeah, definitely so. So exciting first half then. We've got an even more exciting guest on pitch side with Atticus Pede.
Welcome back to the studio here at the break. Cardiff Met currently down to Leeds Beckett at the moment. Now, even though the men are playing right now in the BUCS Super League, we do have some guests here from Cardiff Met's women's rugby team. Now, first of all, we're going to ask them about the experience of the women's team and what's currently going on with them at the moment. First, though, we're going to run a quick video about what certain transitional period they're in right now. So we'll go to that first, then we'll come back from that quick break, and then we'll talk to the three women's rugby players we have here with us tonight.
Listen, as an ex-student here, an ex-captain, it feels great to be back on the pitch. A lot of these girls, they haven't experienced what it is to play for Cardiff Met, and we've essentially got 2 years of freshers. We missed a group of leaders because of COVID, because they were graduated, and here we are. But I think today was a real big boost for them, and you know, building their understanding of what it means to be part of Cardiff Met here.
Yeah, we have a lot of new girls, so there's a lot to pack into a short amount of time training-wise and getting them used to everything, but they're doing so well because obviously we have 2 years of freshers, but no, they're picking up our calls and we're gelling as a team really well. Yeah.
COVID did scupper our pre-season a little bit. We did our best to get the girls together where possible, and in groups, so safely together in groups within the COVID guidelines, which was challenging. So we spent a bit of time, but again, with the WIU's sort of guidance on return to participation, actually, you know, contact was missing and things like that, so it's actually been very, very good over the last, I'd say, 4 weeks where we've actually been able to build towards the game and take contact in a serious way.
Welcome back. Now, Amy, I know the team lost today, but you guys are in more of a transitional rebuilding period right now. How does that work for the team? What does that mean for you guys at the moment? Awesome. Now, Freddie, I know that the women's league, they don't play in the same BUCS Super League. What specific league do you guys play in? How can we follow the women's rugby team?
Most games are live, or there's one live game a week, but it's all on social media. You can follow it all on there. Our twos isn't necessarily shown everywhere, but we always have it on our social media. You can always watch it on there.
Welsh women's rugby, for the first time ever, they're going to have professional contracts starting in January 2022. Talk to me about how big of this, what kind of impact does this have on women's rugby in Wales?
I think it's a massive thing for women in rugby. It's obviously huge progress. England have had it for a couple of years now, so it's great that we've got it as well. It's huge for the women because it means that they can put all their energy and all their time into rugby without having to worry about kind of like the financial side of it. They don't have to spend all the money on rugby without getting anything back. So I think it's massive for them. We've had quite a few Welsh girls come through the setup here, so for them to be able to just take a breath and actually do it professionally is massive. And yeah, I just think it's incredible progress. So onwards and upwards from here.
Awesome. Now, we'll go back one more quick thing, because I think your answer might have been a little muted, Amy, with the microphone. So what does women's rugby need to rebuild, to grow to the area where you think it could be?
So I think right now, with the experiences that we've got on the team, there's a lot of girls who haven't got much experience. I think getting them familiar with everyone so they're enjoying it, that's the main thing. I think progressing as a team, progressing individually, and working as hard as we can together to make sure that everyone's enjoying it, let alone working towards a goal that we want to achieve. As long as they're enjoying it, I think that's all that we care about, because we want you to enjoy it, but then also work hard so we can all achieve together what we want to.
Thank you. Well, Amy, Freddie, Laura, thank you for your time here. Appreciate you guys giving us the answers here. We'll be sure to follow your team as best we can this season. And now we'll head back to Rob and Blake for the start of the second half here. Rob and Blake, back to both of you guys.
Yeah, so I'm here in the commentary box, but for the moment I'm joined by Griff. He's going to tell us a little bit about the women's rugby game. Griff, take it away.
Yeah, so it's a historic day for Welsh female rugby players, with the first major investment into the women's game for the very first time. So they're going to be offering 25 female international players 12-month contracts. So it's a massive deal today. There's lots of excitement about it. So there's going to be 10 professional contracts and up to 15 retainer contracts starting from the 1st of January 2022. It's a very exciting time, especially with the Rugby World Cup in 2023, and the Welsh women will be hoping to be able to compete with England, hopefully, who've been obviously professional since 2019. Therefore, it's a huge step, isn't it, for female rugby in Wales, and I'm sure all the girls who are training for the autumn internationals on the weekend will be ecstatic with that news.
Yeah, wonderful news and important news as well. It's a growing... It's of growing importance that the women get recognised for the talent that they have. Like you said, this is a massive milestone in achieving that. We're about to get back underway in the second half now. Thank you very much, Griff, for joining me. We will see you a little bit later on. And it is Roderick Evans who are going to get us back underway. Blake is going to come back and join me on co-coms. Blake, as we were discussing at halftime, difficult game for us to watch and commentate on is certainly something we weren't expecting to see before the game in our analysis when we were watching their previous weeks. Leeds in the lead now. They were losing last week and perhaps they played better last week.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah, scrappy start of this game, but I have to say that there's a lot of underlying factors at work at the moment. You know, both teams are looking for a bounce back. Form is very suggestive. Even this early on, you know, yeah, sure, form won't really matter early on, looking towards how you're going to fare in the championship in the long run. However, you know, in these mental factors and these emotional factors at work, essentially, that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing a lot of nerves. We're seeing a lot of underlying things that are going on. And, you know, don't forget that, you know, these players, they play a myriad of you know, sports and performances, you know. Cardiff Met, we know, playing the national championships as well. And, yeah, you know, the rotation, you know, can have this impact. The game can become unpredictable. There can be a lack of flow to the game. However, it is a chance this now. You know, they've had a break. They can really start moving this ball well now. As we can see, Roma Zeng looking to get Cardiff Met going forwards.
Yeah, the scrappiness of the game emphasised in the first lineup of the second half, but it's nice passing from Cardiff Met there. Telfer's going to take the ball through. Slightly scrappy once more, but Cardiff Met retain possession. Ball in the hands of Denty. Here comes Cal. So, yeah, scrappy game, like we said in the first half, perhaps not what we were expecting. But the scoreline isn't as unfavourable as it looked like it was going to be before the Roderick Evans penalty kick late on in the first half. Second half now, though, Cardiff Met will hope they can hit their flow, rule out those mistakes that happened in the first half, and capitalise on the strengths they do have in this lineup.
Yeah, as you say, hopefully the performance of the strengths of both teams will be more suggestive to the scoreline.
Cope's block kick goes straight up in the air, comes hurtling back down, and it is a penalty to Cardiff Met.
still seeing those mistakes, you know. Yeah, perhaps the cold, you know, really playing on these players now, mentally as well. You know, I think either team has to just keep taking the chances that they keep getting here. Cardiff Met, I think, a key thing that could suggest why they found Exeter such a hard game, because we spoke to the coaches. They performed really well. They continued that hot form that they were in their previous 5 games going into that. And yeah, you know, this is a learning experience. Even this match as well, we said it's so suggestive to, it is early in the season, but if either team can come away, the motivation and confidence that will be built from this will be a huge boost, and Roderick Evans will hopefully get another 3 points from this conversion.
So someone has wrapped the ball in silk, nice and slippery, but we're going to get Bradley Roderick Evans over a penalty in this first critical incident of the second half, just like the last incident of the first. Under the post, slightly better distance as he strikes his infamous pose to take his side within 1 point of the visitors' Leeds. It's going to be tight, but it's nice and tight. It's the right side of the post, and just like the scoreline, 16-17, it was tight, but it was good, and Cardiff Met have got themselves right back into the game.
It was messy, but he will take it, as you said. And at this stage of the game, second half now, you want to be consistent, you want to be focused, you want to be putting away at these conversions, you want to be disciplined. Leeds Beckett there, perhaps a slight error there, you know, the patience and the discipline, the focus, all these factors will start weighing down on the team that will not be the winner here.
Yep, it's not getting any warmer, so it's not going to get any easier for both sides out there tonight. Caught nicely, though, by Cardiff Met. Matt Marley with good hands. Once again, strong ruck from Cardiff Met, a really important aspect of this game if they are going to come away with all of those crucial points. The referee blows up. It's going to be a Leeds penalty. It's in a nice position. Chances are they will kick for posts. Take them to 20 points again, not without. It is going to be a kick for post from Morris. He's been on point with his kicking so far tonight. 45 minutes on the clock. 2 penalties in the opening 5 minutes, Blake. Again, scrappy game.
Yeah, Leeds reacted very well from conceding there. It's as though both teams have identified that there are frailties in the mistakes here. You know, Leeds done really well there to put the pressure on Cardiff Met, and again, the lack of discipline just unfortunately giving away another penalty for Cardiff Met. I'm sure both teams will just continue that style. We're going to see this flow probably a lot.
Yeah, of all the games I've watched this season, this is definitely the most stop-start I have seen. Neither team can really get their flow going. Bingo has done his best to try and get his team moving quickly. Hasn't quite come off for a long period of time. Not in that first half, as Morris sends his kick up as it whacks the comms box. Nice touch from the camera there, but it's going to be 16-20 the scoreline. Cardiff Met 4 points behind as we approach the 50th minute. Roderick Evans is going to get us back underway as quickly as he can because he's chasing this game now. Those 2 penalties looking ever important. And this is caught nicely by Leeds over on that far side. Cope rolls the ball out. Is it going to be another box kick? Penalty to Leeds. Again, that ruck. It's important to be aggressive, slightly over-aggressive, and it's happened a couple of times in this game.
Got to balance out your emotions well here. You know, we're just possibly waiting for the moment that's going to ignite Cardiff Met. I look back to the moments in the first half where they did so well to stop the drive and maul. It's those moments where you can react from it emotionally and really use that to motivate yourself to get the ball flowing, get the passes going, and start to express themselves how we expect. And, you know, we've seen early on Roma Zeng's try. That took us all by surprise. The ball was moving fast. Maybe if they can try and find that form again, start moving the ball to allow, or not to allow Leeds to set up and defend well, and we may see more of a flow to this game.
Yeah, not too much distance on the kick, so it is a line out. that is intercepted by Cardiff Met. Nicely done there. There wasn't too much distance on the kick. The line-out was taken on the Leeds 10-metre line, which means right now Cardiff Met are in a good position to have possession. Shaping up for a scrum. Slight knock on there, I believe, from one of the Leeds players. And as we said, if they can be strong in these scrums, in these crucial positions, they'll be really important moving forward as they chase those 4 points and beyond.
It's intriguing to see how they're going to react to this scrum, if they can peel off nicely and get a drive and phase going forwards now.
Yeah, as you said, balance those emotions, nice and aggressive. Try not to let that discipline slip. It's going to be Lloyd to put the ball in. The elbow goes down on the floor almost immediately there. Oldham pleading with the ref that it wasn't his fault, and in fact Leeds. But it's going to be another scrum. Still in the hands of Cardiff Met. 48 minutes on the clock. Cardiff Met 16, Leeds 20. The crowd still not quite feeling the chill, as you see on the top of your screen there. A lovely dress. And a few cavemen in the crowd as well.
I'd have to say, Leeds is probably the first team that's come here, apart from Durham, which we've seen the 13-all draw, that have taken the challenge on really well. And to play away from home, you take every little gain that you can, and that may just be the gift that tries, the lack of discipline from the home team.
And as you say that, the referee blows his whistle once again, not happy with the scrum. And the game is pinned over on that far side. Stop-start, as we said, mostly stop in the early stages of this second half. We're not going anywhere for a couple more minutes as the scrum gets back set up. So Cardiff Met are going to keep the ball here. Last week they spent more time defending than they did attacking. Not the case this week, it seems, to the naked eye so far. They've definitely been in possession in those attacking positions slightly more, which is definitely a good thing as the scrum comes up and the penalty goes to Met. Decent position, 10-metre line of Leeds. And the thing is, last week they were pinned in a similar position. They spent 34% of the game pinned in that. Exeter 22, as my sheets go flying across the table. Nice position for Bradley if he does want to go for post, though. So, decent position for Bradley then, as the wind has picked up ever so slightly in the last couple of minutes. Shouldn't make too much of a difference. He is going to check it, though. Bang on the 10-metre line. The infamous pose. From the number 10. Up she goes. And it's good. Nicely done there from Roderick Evans, the man with one of the highest pass accuracies in the team last week at 95%. Doing a job in the second half off the tee.
The consistency is getting better for Roderick Evans. He's starting to convert now nicely.
Yeah, and a lot of the time make or break for Cardiff Met in terms of winning the game is how well Roderick Evans does with his kicking game. First half, struggled a little bit, maybe as we said, the conditions deceiving a lot of players. Looking like ideal conditions, perhaps not the case. This second half, they've managed to adapt. So, Cardiff Met 19, Leeds 20, 50 minutes on the clock. And just to make it even more interesting, Griff McKee is going to join us in the commentary box for the remainder of the second half.
Looking forward to this second half. Hopefully Cardiff Met can come back into the game, to be fair. They're losing at the moment, and unfortunately anyway.
Couple of technical issues from Griff's mic. He's excited to be joining us in the box, but for now Leeds are pinning Cardiff back. It's a nice little box kick that's going to get Cardiff Met out of their own half, charging forwards. And once again there, Leeds kicking it into touch. An interesting thing to mention, Bavadra, rather, the winger for Leeds, he's got 550-22 kicks so far this season, which is one of the most in the league, definitely the most for that Leeds team.
He suits their team very well.
Yeah, it might have been something they're looking to do, but it's not coming off at all so far. It's going to be a Cardiff Met line-out once again, as I think we're going to try and get Griff to join us as this line-out is taken.
That's a nicely
taken nicely, yeah.
Strong line-out again. They're looking good. They've got a good base from the line-out, to be fair, Cardiff Met. Every week, especially recently now, and Morgan Nelson as well. He's been a big miss, I think, tonight.
So, spilled then again from the box kick. It comes hurtling down, shaking in the air, can't quite get a handle on it. It is Leeds, ultimately, who do get their hands on the ball. Cope isn't quite happy with his cover from the box kick, something he's done all game. This one sent high, but not too far. Spilled once again. It's Matt Marley, tries to get his hands on it. A little bit scrappy. Dribbling with the ball. Leeds looking to break through the line. Can't quite do so. But it is those mistakes from the aerial balls. As the ball's dropped once again, someone's wrapped it in soap, dipped it in some fairy liquid, whatever it is. The ball is slippery as ever. A couple of players really struggling to get a grasp on it. Could be the conditions. Could be the nerves. I'm going to have to go with the chill that is in the air tonight, though.
Yeah, definitely. I think Cardiff Met are just trying to relax here, to be honest. I feel like they didn't really go for the cats there from the kick with any sort of integrity. You know, we could say, you know, all those underlying things. We see Di Watts there, the conditioning coach, really trying to motivate the team there. I think that's something that they can do. You know, Cardiff Met so many times, they've been against the grain, and, you know, this game is scrappy. It is playing into the favour of Leeds Beckett, in my opinion, but let me just see there, the Cardiff Met player is down.
Yeah, there is a Cardiff Met player down, getting a little bit of treatment. But I'll give a chance for the players to get some water in them. There's 55 minutes on the clock. The score is tight. Looking like Talfa's going to be okay as he gets back to his feet. Hopefully going to stay on. Griff joining us in the commentary box. Two big changes in the team so far today. Talfa and Tuetti coming into the team. Do you think they've delivered on exactly what they were hoping for?
I'm very impressed, I must be fair. I think one of the big changes we've seen today is the centre partnership has changed. So we've seen Bingo come in further in and then Dav on the 13, obviously. And I've enjoyed the partnership, I'll be very honest. I've been seeing Dav get involved, plenty of tackles going in. He looks to be a fast, nippy tackler. He's getting around the park. He's going into tackles. He's brave, and then that lets Bingo use his flair a little bit more from that number 12. I think that's a fantastic change. And then also Telfer, he's been very good today. He's getting into tackles. He's protecting the 9 from the scrum as well, which is vitally important from the set piece. Yeah, no, I agree with that. You know, there's a lot of talent in that centre position for Cardiff Met. Will Rigg being one of the men who is normally in the side, normally performing to a high level, but it is, like I say, about the team and that squad rotation and ultimately getting the best from every player in the side.
As you say there, the players who have came in, they've stepped up to the plate really well, I think. They've got to really trust the process, I think. You know, they've got the really strengths there, they're performing well. They seem to have a bit of more of a flow to this game now, the past 2-3 minutes. As we've seen the kicking game, is starting to come into fruition.
Yeah, Joe Locke on the pitch now, praised by many as a really versatile player. He can do almost everything in terms of the position that he does play. He's on the pitch now, rather. And like I say, squad versatility, a little bit of rotation. Ultimately, the side will benefit.
You know, we have to keep reiterating the squad depth for Cardiff Met is superb. You know, I think going forwards as well, having that, just that option really to have those versatile players to add something to the game, and it'll be very intriguing to see how well the new players and the finishers will come onto this game and change it really.
As the ball is spilled once again there, Langton can't quite get his hands on it properly. It's been a really scrappy game, stop and start. 1 point in it. We approach the 60th minute. There's a couple of other games going on in the BUCS tonight. I'm sure the coaches will have their eye on it. I'm not sure the players will know the scores yet. Griff, can you bring us any information on the other games going on tonight in BUCS Super Rugby?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep on top of what's going on Twitter at the moment, and the latest results are as follows. So Bath are playing Exeter at the moment. Well, at half-time it was 12-14 to Bath. Then Hartbury against Northumbria. Hartbury are 13-7 up. At the half at Swansea, it was 12-6, but Cardiff Uni have scored a try, making it 12-11, I believe, at the moment. And then the other one, a very tight game between Durham and Loughborough. 6-6 at half-time. Impressive, tight defence.
So Leeds have it then, deep into the Cardiff Met half. Some big games going on elsewhere. It makes it ever more important to win this one. Or some might say important not to lose it. As here come Leeds, the ball's in the hands of Burlau. Passed over nicely to Allen, who's hit with a strong tackle, and it is the man, Joe Locke, who wins it back. And it's going to take a few players to stop him because he's come into the side and he's keen. Really good bit of play. Offloaded nicely there by the number 18, Andrews, has also made his way onto the pitch. The substitutes making a big difference as Roderick Evans' kick is charged down. No one can get their hands on it. It is Roma Zeng who gets it under control ultimately. Tackled well by Leeds. The pace is picked up nicely then. Not in a good place though for Cardiff Met. They're going to get this away. Charles Rylands scrapes it back. The kick is away. It was charged down. Vajra can't quite catch it there as it goes out of play. That picked up a little bit nicely there, Blake.
We've seen Joe Locke there, just done really well to get the ball back for Cardiff Met. That turnover was really good, but you can just see once they were back on the ball, the excitement was there. So there is a bit of energy now. We have seen a bit of a spark to this. Can either team use that to ignite a sort of fire here that's needed on this chilly evening?
Yeah, it shows the hunger from the bench. There's a game in the making here as we finally reach that 60 minutes mark. Griff, you just read out the scores in the other games. There's a Cardiff-Swansea derby going on, but the games that these boys will be looking at slightly further up the table. Loughborough in particular I'm thinking of coming to mind. How important is it that these guys can get a win today?
I think especially when you look at that Loughborough-Durham, as you've just mentioned, they're two of the teams right at the top. Durham on 21 points, they haven't lost the game yet. Especially for Leeds Beckett today, they are lagging slightly behind due to their poor form recently. If they can get a big win here, a first defeat for Cardiff Met at home, it'd be massive for them, not just in terms of the table, but it'd be a massive morale boost as well, just in general for for Leeds Beckett.
Yep, Leeds don't want to fall too far off, but the ball does not want to be caught safely today. There's a little slip there. Ends with Cardiff Met taking possession of the ball. Think a little bit of chat to the referee there. Might have been a bit of dissent, but they've been done for 10 yards or so.
Yeah, just seen a bit of verbal there given from the Leeds players. I'm sure Cardiff Met should acknowledge that. Acknowledge maybe Leeds are just starting to get that express their nerves a bit more instead of just the performance of the dropping of the ball and letting the discipline go. We're starting to see that in the body language and the language given from the Leeds players. I've met now with Roderick Evans.
Apologies there if you did hear any of the bad language from the Leeds players over by our cameraman. Roderick Evans is going to take the kick in front of the cavemen on the far side. The drummer's wrapped up nicely, and so is that kick. There it is then, Cardiff Met 22, Leeds 20. All the subs have come on in the second half for Cardiff Met, made all the difference, taking the lead.
That was that spark of electricity I was telling you about. You know, Leeds, just a bit of dissent, but I'm sure Cardiff Met will very much enjoy that. It has been a lot of conversions here, as Leeds tried to get it going again, and there's Cardiff Met with the ball.
Yeah, so a completely different look to this Cardiff Met team in the second half. Ethan Morgan, the only man remaining on the bench for the Met team. And it's kind of worked out early on in the second half. For Met, the physicality of the game noticed by the coaches as the box kick is sent there just over the halfway line. Can't be caught. Fumbled slightly by Gulliver. Collected in the end, though. The aerial ball's really presenting a challenge for the boys today. It is dark. The floodlights perhaps making a little bit of a difference. Leeds retain possession nicely. The ball is in the hands of Brown, who goes down. The referee's in there telling him to let go, which he does. The ball spills out as McNabb assists it and sends it. Caught nicely by Denty. Readjusted kick over to the far side. Bavadra collects. He's been a good player for Leeds today on that far side, trying to make all the difference he can. It's been difficult to get it out to him.
He wasn't identified as a threat for Cardiff Met, but he has been nullified a lot today. He hasn't really got his kicking game going, but as we said, he suits this Leeds team well.
Yeah, Steen gets the ball sent, caught nicely over on that far side by Roma Zeng, a man who's really fancied it tonight, played fantastically for Cardiff Met. Another man who has bingo, Ivan Sevic, who drops it unfortunately. Bavadra, who we talked about moments ago. The key players really starting to stamp their mark on this game. The referee doing his best to slow it down just a little bit. The players are getting feisty.
It's interesting to see with the subs coming on. It's gone with Bingo Ivancevic at 12 and Will Riggs filling it in at 13 instead of Dav Chuetti. It's interesting to see that. They've done that, to think in the past weeks Bingo's been the one at 13, not Will Rigg. Bingo's obviously made a big impact on his game to hold his spot there, but I'm sure Will Rigg, he's definitely on to make a statement, isn't he? On the bench tonight, he'll want to get himself back into the team going into next week.
Yeah, Will with the most carries last week. Maybe feels hard done by, but it's a game where you can come on and stamp your difference. Bingo's done well in that number 12, though. Maybe it wasn't so much the partnership, maybe it was the position, but there's no bad word to say about Chuetti. He's come into the team and he's made a really good impact. As you see there, Roma has gone down after he skipped a couple of tackles, maybe one too many for him. Fantastic player so far today, though. As he said, the opening try, great player.
He's given us a lot of energy here for Cardiff, and these sort of players who are going to be sparking at the bit, really, they're going to try and really enforce themselves onto the game. As you say, the star players are the ones that both teams are going to look to. Remember Zeng, definitely a player who can really switch it on for Cardiff Met, giving them the energy needed going forwards.
Yeah, he's tried to make what is a stop-start game flow nicely. It's a difficult thing to do, especially in this environment. As we said, difficult circumstances. It's nice and chilly today, but the subs are on. The crowd are still here, still in good voice. Cardiff Met are in the lead, 22-20. It is going to be McNabb to put the ball into the Leeds scrum. And hopefully things will liven up now that the teams have settled into the game. They know the type of game they're in. The coaches will do their best to work out the winning formula. And it's a strong scrum from Leeds. Hold it nicely. McNabb is going to get it out. Big hit from Burlau. Bit of experience from him, hitting hard. Morris in support. Gulliver. Flicked on nicely by Steen. Leeds are making their way to the half. Little bit of a mistake. It's Brown, and it's going to be a penalty too. No, it's a knock-on. It's going to be a scrum. Little bit of a drop there. He might have dropped it. Gone forward. Deemed by the referee. Blake.
Cardiff Met will take that. You know, we're just seeing the body language there from the Met players, and we just see here Ali Stacey has come on to the pitch now. He looks lively, looks ready to go. Again, these changes are going to be made now, going into the latter stages of the game now, and Stacey's about to put this ball into the scrum. I think he's going to add something to this team.
Yeah, Ali Stacey, a top performer in previous weeks at that number 9 position. The thing is, it's just going to emphasise, especially in the second half, how versatile the squad is, how willing they are to sit on the bench for the betterness of the team and come on and do their best when they do make their appearance. This scrum important, though, for Cardiff Met, who are going to look to put some daylight between the two sides for the first time this game. They get the ball out. Here is Bingo with a grubber. Doesn't quite come off. It's ended up being turned over. That's unfortunate. Tried something different. Couldn't quite come off. It's nice to see him trying there as Brown skips one tackle. The second nicely assisted. Joe Locke in the mix for Met. Collected by Jack Sylvester. We know it's a difficult thing to do, Griff. Today, the ball's been dropped a couple of times. Nice to see the players getting a handle on it, maybe adapting to the position and the conditions.
Yeah, by now I think the players are getting used to the conditions. It's surprising to see so many fumbles and having that heartbreak game here last time, which was a lot more rain, a lot more dew on the pitch than there was tonight. So it's interesting to see more handling errors, but no, I'm sure Danny Milton will be happy that Jack Sylvester took that with ease.
Yeah, definitely.
As we said earlier as well, there's so many underlying conditions at work here. And, you know, just see there, it was very nicely claimed there. And, yeah, for the first time, you can see some sort of stability in the catching game. And, as we said, Griff, before, against Harpury, we've seen a lot of spills there. But maybe it's more of a frosty fingers affair, this one.
Jack Sylvester collected nicely from the aerial ball, nonetheless, under what can be described as immense pressure from Leeds. They're definitely quick to the boys. And that might be one of those factors Blake was talking about. Nicely into touch there, the crowd like that. A few of the ultras staying strong despite the temperatures plummeting. As the crowd member sends the ball back over with a lovely little kick, nice and accurate. He's not worried about the conditions, he doesn't even have sleeves. 70 minutes on the clock then, 10 remaining. Cardiff Met in the lead. It's going to be a Cardiff Met line out in a very nice position if they can take advantage. Caught nicely by Matt Marley this time. Here is Will Rigg. Nicely supported by Bingo. Ali Stacey selects his pass nicely. Bradley Roderick Evans sends it over to this far side. The referee's blown his whistle though. There's going to be a penalty to Cardiff Met. Advantage played there well by the referee. Cardiff Met look to do something different. Look to speed up the play maybe. Didn't quite come off, but it's nice to see them trying.
I said earlier in the game that perhaps the cards were kept close to the chest. Cardiff Met now, I'm starting to see pockets of play now where they're starting to express themselves a bit more, moving the balls fast, playing to their strengths, whether that's versatile in their play. You know, you're seeing Bingo Ivanisevic there. He tried to kick the ball forwards. Those sort of plays that trying to vary how they're playing is very important, and I'm liking to see this. As we can see, Roderick Evans yet again going for the post, taking this penalty. As I said again, either team will take anything that they will be gifted in such a scrappy affair like this game tonight.
Yep, so it's Bradley Roderick Evans over the kick once more, and they'll be looking to put a little bit of daylight in between them and this very strong Leeds team. It's been a difficult battle so far today. As we have less than 10 minutes remaining, this is an important kick, as they all are. It's up nicely, wraps around the post, and it's the right side. His kicking game has improved immensely in the second half. He's been on point, as he usually is, and those kicks are going to be the difference so far, and hopefully, for the Cardiff Met point of view, ultimately in this game.
Cool, calm, collected there from Roderick Evans. Yet again, seeing the focus build now. Cardiff Met need to really reinforce themselves, not give away these mistakes. Stay strong, stay focused, and again, trust that game plan that they set out early on.
Yep, Matt Marley collects nicely. He's definitely got a handle on the conditions. Collecting the ball a few times, well under pressure. Ali Stacey directing that he needs cover for that kick, which we've seen all day from both sides. Nicely taken, spun well by Owen. Little bit of quick passing from Leeds. Nicely done. Sent over to the far side by Steen. They're not even going to challenge that tackle. Here is Pavadra. Difficult to bring that man down, but they do ultimately. Nice assisted tackle. Leeds going through the phases. Nicely caught by Charles Rylands there. The cheeky grubber through the lines. Doesn't quite come off. Here is Will Rigg, the substitute, showing his strength and what he can bring to the team. Ref's whistle there.
I love how alert Charles Rylands was there. He picked up the ball well there. He's the captain here today. He's such a leader. We've heard about what he's like on the pitch. He's so professional in his attitude as well. He's going to be such a key leader out there for the Met team. And when he does things like that, you know, he has picked up a bit of a knock there. But the Met team will look to him, and they're going to look to him for inspiration here as the team just kind of refocus, rebuild their confidence and refocus here.
Yeah, there's been a couple of games this season where we've seen the scoreline closer than this going into the last 5 minutes. Nonetheless, within a try are Leeds, and as we can tell from the games elsewhere, a win here is important, but not to lose. Equally important. Griff going to bring the scores from those other games now, and we'll work out where it is Cardiff Met are.
So there's been an update from Loughborough. There's been a try for Durham, so it's currently 11-6. So apologies for that. So it's 11-6 for Durham at the moment against Loughborough. And I had a little bit of a fumble at half-time, similar to some of the players out there tonight. Exeter, in fact, losing to Bath.
Wow.
It's 26-17 to Bath. Don't make that mistake again.
So,
big results.
Loughborough and Exeter both losing, emphasising the point of how important winning this game is for Cardiff Met. And then Grubber sent through there. Bradley Denty trying to chase it down as quickly as he can. Owen's going to get it away, though, just in time. But as we were saying about those results, Loughborough losing, Exeter losing. It's a chance for Cardiff Met to make their way into those top positions. But as Griff said before, from a Leeds point of view, you don't want to drop too far out of that little mixer. You know, you can find yourself in a difficult position if you do.
Yeah, for Leeds, this is a massive game because at the start of the season, you were thinking there were 6 key teams in this division, and then the 4 others were, not quite as high level as these ones. Loughborough are starting to fall off, aren't they? Loughborough, Leeds, I apologise. Leeds are starting to fall off, therefore a win for them.
Another slippery one in the line out there, but Loughborough managed to collect it just about. McNabb is going to get it away, though. They've done well to recover this one, Leeds, if they can form some sort of attack as we head into the last 5 minutes. You boys next to me are going to have to start configuring out who your man of the match is going to be. There's a few headliners out there. I'll leave that to you boys because it's going to be a difficult one in a stop-start game. Some players are going to have stepped up, made their mark on the game.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to give credit again to just how important this game is in terms of the players using this as a great learning experience. We've seen Hartpury, a very different learning experience in terms of the emphaticness of how they won. Exeter taking heed from that a loss, taking positives from a loss early on in the season, and here learning to be professional, disciplined, and acknowledge that at times you won't be able to flow. This is a league where teams like Leeds will come away to your ground and try to exploit your weaknesses.
Yep, and it is Sutherland then in a dangerous position. Shall they get this line out right? As we said, it'd be nice to see Cardiff Met on the attack in these dying embers of the game from their point of view, because we have seen in the past, as you said, they've learned to hold their back line strong and defend. But if they can get another try here, put that bit of distance, get themselves into a big enough lead where they don't have to worry too much about the try being scored by Leeds in these late stages. Charles Ryans with a cheeky little show and go. Gains a couple of yards, sent over to Barrett. Manages to get the ball free. Here is Roderick Evans. The ball dropped, knocked forward slightly. Yep, the referee says it was. It's going to be a scrum to Leeds. Not the worst position to have it. 3 minutes on the clock. as we show the captain there cheering for his team. He knows how important this win is. He'll know the scores of the other games. As we await his return, he'll hope that a win in this game can put them in a good position in that league table.
Yeah, we've just seen there, Ewan Shenson, the club captain of Cardiff Met, a key figure, on the sidelines, driving his team forward. You have to remember here, Cardiff Met are still getting these performances in and these results going for them in their way without maybe their strongest side. Again, we see Morgan Nelson is missing tonight, and Cardiff Met again just proving that they've got the adaptability. Again, perhaps they have not been able to get the flow of the game, but if they can get a win here, this will prove that they can just be contenders for this league.
Yeah, you mentioned Morgan Nelson missing, but it's the strength of the boys coming into that front row that is ever so important for Cardiff Met, and the strength in that front line is something that Cardiff Met value very much so. So much, in fact, they are in the development of the Prop Academy, something that you can find out more about on Cardiff Met TV in the coming weeks, but that is an area they are prioritising for their team. So, boys, 2 minutes to go. I've had a discussion about the man of the match. I think it's going to be Blake to present it. Griff, Blake, talk me through.
Like I said, I like to pick players based on what they do for the team, how well they've integrated themselves onto the match. I have to give credit to David Tioetti. His first start for Cardiff Met, I've seen him a lot warming up on the bench. I've seen him around the campus looking eager, and these players do come onto the pitch well and express themselves, and he's played such a crucial role that he was brought in to complement. Oh,
there we are then. Joe Locke picks it up nicely. Can they get through that Leeds defensive line to put Met? Oh, it's offloaded nicely. It's over to the far side. Here is Roma Zeng once more. He's done it at the start and he's done it at the end. Roma Zeng, the man of the moment, the man who's going to win this game for Cardiff Met. He's a player they look to time and time again. It was a consolation last week, but he can celebrate this one knowing that he has won the game for his team.
Nimble, and he was agile, and he was tricky and cunning in that play. He was very ready there and alert. Joe Locke, I have to give props to there as well. He reacted so well after scrum, and it was a very nice bit of play. They got the ball moving quickly, Roma Zeng on the wing, and he just finished off well there. That gave me a headache, really, in terms of who to give man of the match now. Roma Zeng with 2 tries. We said he would be the one to pick up the pocket. That switch of playing on the left can be just the difference here. Yeah,
Tioetti came on, complemented that centre partnership with Bingo very nicely. But Roma Zeng, 2 tries tonight, a try last week. He's been fantastic. And they've looked to him tonight to spice up what has been a stop-and-start game. And he's made it flow, and when he has got into that flow, he's delivered nicely. Bradley Roderick Evans, a slightly less pressurised kick. He'll want to get it through. The crowd seem to like it. And it is good. 32-20, Cardiff Met lead. Our clock is dead. It's the referee's one that matters, as always. There is time for Leeds to get us back underway. The ref's having a discussion. The ref's not going to blow up. Leeds are going to have the opportunity to get the play back underway as we see Roma's try once more. Caught nicely there by Will Rigg. Now isn't the time to slip up on that handling. Nice offload by Rylands. The ball's in the hand of Bradley Denty. Ali Stacey's going to keep it moving. There is clearly a little bit more time on the referee's watch. Ali Stacey with a box kick. Leeds couldn't quite charge it down. It's high, not too much distance. Dropped by Morris. Barrett couldn't quite get on the end of it. Leeds are going to retain possession. The referee blows. Slight little knock on in the mixer there, and it's going to be a scrum. And the ball is going to be in the hands of Cardiff Met. Our clock is dead. There can't be too much longer of the game. The stadium clock thinks there will be 3. Nonetheless, there isn't too much longer to go in this game. Cardiff Met, as Blake said earlier, will want to learn from their experiences in the past. I've been stood here a couple of times this season. The score much tighter than it is now. The crowd are enjoying this little bit of a winning margin going into the end of the game.
I think that they really did trust the process there. I was expecting that Cardiff Met would just remain patient, that Leeds did use those moments that they were getting. You know, they were just going to wait for the mistakes that Cardiff Met were going to make, and yeah, they were always going to get some points on the board. But Cardiff Met, you know, like I said, against Hartpury and even against Exeter, the finishes that come on to this team show how hungry they are to prove. I did say David did look very good coming into the team, but Roma Zeng with 2 tries. When he did switch wings, we had him down on the other side, and you know, he added so much. And look at these fans here, again, showing why coming here is so difficult to get a result.
Yeah, they've been loud and proud the whole way through this game. And just like Cardiff Met, it's looking as if they will come away winners tonight. Referee not quite happy with that scrum. We're going to be retaking the ball instead in the hands of Cardiff Met. So a little bit more energy in the second half. The subs were made. As we said, there's no complaints from the players that played it in the first half, though. They came into the team and they did the job they hoped to do. A little bit unlucky with the scoreline, you'd have to say. It's nice to see, though. Exeter last week, a couple of mistakes in that game, a couple of fortunate opportunities for the opposition. Today, it looked like it was going to be a repeat, but the players have fought strong. The training's clearly paid off. Bradley's going to dink it over to that far side, caught nicely over on that far side, skipped through a couple of challenges. Really well done by Jack Sylvester. He's going to gain a number of yards. Ali Stacey's there. Langland's going to keep driving forward, supported nicely by Ryland. Here is Will Rigg. His strength really made a difference in this second half. The ref's going to blow up. It's going to be a Leeds penalty. As I said earlier, it is a penalty, but it's in a better position. We don't want to see them under the post anytime soon from a Cardiff Met point of view. They've done a really good job at nullifying the opposition in the first half. Green, the young man, 18 years old, second in the 100-metre English schools competition.
Do you know what? I was looking at that stat with a critical eye. To do such a thing for his position is impressive.
Having that pace merchant in the centre is usually a really beneficial thing for Leeds. Not quite today, though. It's going to be a Leeds line out on that far side. The players are wondering how long is left on the clock. I'd have to say, so am I.
That was suggestive to just all the fascinating assets and facets to what each player of the BUCS Super Rugby can add. We just don't know what they're about, but when they're out here expressing themselves, you can tell so much about them, from how much they work hard in training, how much they dig deep, how much they add to the team. And Cardiff Met, again, like a culture, a family. And just
closing stages of this game, Joe Locke's got it back in his hand. The referee's watch is still going, though. They don't want to kick it out just yet. Bradley's going to send it over to Owen. A straight out is going to be a Leeds line out. No, it's not. The referee blows up. The crowd go wild. It's a Cardiff Met win. The score ends Cardiff Met 32, Leeds Beckett 20. A hard-fought victory, a tough game, but Cardiff Met on top, and you can see it there. Cardiff Met 30, Leeds 20. Blake, did you enjoy that one?
I did. I thought this was always going to be a test of professionalism. It was going to be who reacted the best off a loss, and I had no doubt in my mind that Cardiff Met were going to always react well from such an unfortunate defeat to Exeter. We've seen that Exeter game there's so much positive to take. We knew that cognitively, perhaps, just consciously in their minds, that they knew that we were hard done by, perhaps, maybe from a few referee decisions according to the coach and staff. However, Cardiff Met shown their professionalism, show their willingness to win games, and this is such a vital game to win with their fixtures that they have lined up. They have Bath next week, which they probably see as a game that they can win before they start their journey on the road to some very difficult games, round 8 and 9 against Loughborough and Durham.
As you can see there, the Cardiff Met supporters going crazy over on that far side within the crowd. So on pitch side then we have Atticus Peed, who is going to give us a little bit more inside info on what it was that won Cardiff Met that game. we've had our opinions on this side. It's going to be Ian Gardner who's going to give us a little bit of info on pitch side, joining Atticus now.
I'm joined post-game by Coach Ian Gardner here. Coach, where was the game won today for you guys?
I think the second half we stopped giving away penalties, and I think that was a big factor. In fairness, Leeds we knew would be a big physical outfit, which they were, and they didn't disappoint in that area. First half, as I said, we gave away far too many penalties, started really well, and then I think as the game sort of wore on, we sort of defended well, but if we're honest, it wasn't the best game.
Now, something changed at halftime. Obviously, you guys started to come back in the first half, but out of the second half especially, things really changed for the better. What happened at halftime?
Well, look, the way we started the game, we were really pleased. The first 15 minutes, scored 2 quick tries, and we felt we were on top physically. We defended really well. And then I think we got a bit overconfident, gave away far too many penalties, and in fairness, the Leeds, they came right back into it. So we just spoke at half-time about discipline, about playing in the right areas, and really just looking after the ball, which we did to an extent, although we still made a couple of unforced errors, which is frustrating, but, you know, we'll take the 32-20 win.
Awesome. Cool. Coach Gardner, one more question for you here, if that's all right. Your best player on the field for you guys today? Anyone you can think of in particular?
I think that's a real tough decision, a tough call. I thought lots of the boys sort of stood up there. I thought the front row were excellent again. I thought Matthew Marley at 8 was, in fairness, he's pretty error-free there. And Charles Rylands always gives you so much in defence. I thought Joe Locke made a massive impact coming off the bench. So he had 2 key turnovers. One of them resulted in the winning try. So I think, it was an all-round team performance, but it was one or two individuals as well.
Awesome. Coach Gardner, thank you for your time. Glad we have a Cardiff Met win to celebrate today.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll be joined here now. Joined here now by Griff. He's in the commentary box for the second half. Griff, your view on the game from the commentary position. What did you see out there?
I thought it was an eagerly contested game. It was a fantastic one to watch from the commentary booth, to be fair, because there was plenty going on. A couple of fumbles, bit of mistakes that was pointed out by us in the commentary booth. Hopefully we didn't lay into them too much, but I thought in the second half Cardiff Met really came into their own. Potentially the crowd got a bit carried away. They were chanting, "Is this your second team?" despite it being very close in the first half. But no, Cardiff Met, all credit to them. They came through in the end and they got 3 tries. Maybe they could have had the 4th at the end, but no, they'll be delighted just to come away with that 3. And 32-20, good result in the end.
One more question for you. Where did you think Cardiff Met really won this game? What changed for them to allow them to come back after the early deficit?
I think that eagerness to get the ball back, you could see a lot of players, Joe Locke, Charles Rylands, a couple of the front row, they were always getting on the ball. They were trying to get that turnover, trying to jackal to get the ball back. It was very aggressive in their play, and they were always disruptive in the way they were going into them rucks. So on the whole, I think that's where the game changed, really, that aggressiveness in getting into their faces. I don't think Leeds Beckett enjoyed that.
Awesome. Griff, thank you for your thoughts. We'll have you head out of the shot here. We've got a post-game interview here with Cardiff Met player here.
Hello, UK.
Hi, Charles. Thank you for joining us post-match. Now, for you here, you guys went down in an early deficit but came back really well. What did you guys do differently to allow the comeback to happen?
Yeah, at half-time, the coaches weren't too happy with us. I thought the first 10 minutes we were good, they said, and we sort of dropped off, let them come into it a little bit. So at half-time, they told us we need to sort out next 10 minutes, and we did in the second half, and I thought we were a lot better. It wasn't great, wasn't as good as we have been in the previous weeks, but we'll take a win against them. They're not a bad side. So
awesome. Now, team unity today looked like made a big impact for you guys. You guys had a lot of good team plays, just all around, really did well defensively, especially in that second half. Did the team unity have a really big impact? Was it the fans? What really happened there?
Yeah, obviously the fans are always massive for us when we play here. The noise they make is incredible. The numbers they bring. Last week, 150 of them coming to Exeter, they're making a huge difference. And this is the closest team I've ever played in. Everyone's good mates with each other, and you can see that when we defend. We all want to defend together, we all want to attack together, and it means everything to us when we play for this badge because we know how much history it has behind it. So it means everything to us. Yeah.
Awesome. Charles, thank you for your time. Glad we have a Cardiff Met win today.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. Again, Cardiff Met 32-20 defeated Leeds Beckett here on this Wednesday night. Thank you for joining us.